Now at 11, a suspect threatened Cincinnati police officers and falsely accused them of excessive force.
But police body camera video shows the officers met the suspect's insults with compassion. Chief investigative reporter Craig Cheatham examines these cases as part of the I-Team's year-long investigation of police use of force.
On the other side of that door, 36-year-old Ricky Nelson and his vicious dog.
No one wants to be confrontational.
Have the undivided attention of Cincinnati police.
Well, we got to make sure you're okay.
Cincinnati police body cameras recorded the incident in August 2017.
But I'm scared to go down there.
Police responded to Nelson's home because neighbors accused him of assaulting them.
He hit me, we wrestled to the ground.
Before officers entered the house, they interviewed witnesses, including Nelson's relatives, who all expressed concern about his state of mind and his vicious dog.
I don't want no black cops touch me.
It was the second time in just 3 months that CPD body cameras recorded officers arresting Nelson.
Shut your black up.
In both cases, Nelson falsely accused officers of excessive force. He mocked and threatened them.
I promise.
And repeatedly used the N-word when he spoke to black officers.
You mean, cock.
But regardless of what Nelson said or did, Cincinnati police officers remained focused, professional, and often showed Nelson compassion.
Are you going to behave for us?
I'm emotional.
I know.
The 9 on Your Side I-Team obtained those recordings as part of our year-long investigation of local police use of force. In all, the I-Team examined more than 300 police body camera videos. The actions of those Cincinnati officers stood out. We showed the same videos to Police Union President Dan Hills.
I would recommend that for a training video. That was great police work.
To Ohio State Senator Cecil Thomas, a retired CPD sergeant.
You don't want any black cops. I've had that. I heard that.
To civil rights attorney Al Gerhardstein.
In both scenarios, all of the officers kept their cool.
And to Iris Rowley, an original member of the Cincinnati Black United Front.
Overall, I like the response from the officers.
Mrs. Rowley was impressed with the professionalism of the officers, but she was concerned that during Nelson's first incident, officers didn't warn him that he could be arrested before they took him to the ground.
I don't ever want to see anyone not being told that they're about to be arrested and what they're being arrested for.
She was impressed that different agencies work so well together at Nelson's home.
I'm grateful that we are looking at officers who have displayed the appropriate response at the appropriate time.
Mrs. Rowley and Mr. Gerhardstein were key contributors to the groundbreaking Cincinnati Police Collaborative. The 2002 agreement settled a lawsuit alleging widespread police bias against African Americans, allegations denied by the city of Cincinnati and the police department. Gerhardstein told the I-Team officers appeared to use as little force as possible in both incidents.
This is a good example of taking a situation and bringing it down as opposed to letting it rise up and be even more volatile.
But he said officers violated department policy by not warning Nelson he could get tased.
But all in all, I think they dealt with the situation at least as peacefully as possible, except for those violations of the taser policy.
Senator Thomas viewed it differently.
I don't think you need a warning at this point. Ricky's already shown that he's not cooperating. The moment you get an opportunity to tase him, you got to tase him.
But Thomas, who praised the police,
treating individuals the way you're trained to treat them,
also believed the officers should have called a SWAT unit to negotiate.
That could have been a SWAT call. But again, you can make decisions by the cast and crew you got around you.
Sergeant Hills, a former police negotiator, said the officers at Nelson's home acted like a SWAT team.
They came up with a plan, and they executed it, in my eyes, flawlessly.
Hills told us reviewing body camera recordings is important, but they should not determine if a police response is a success.
If that is the way that society is going to use the footage from body-worn cameras, we in society are in trouble.
All right? Ricky, are you okay?
After police arrested Nelson at his home, they updated his mother, Tina.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Can I talk to my child?
Yeah. Yeah. Come on down here.
You don't need to be mean.
3 weeks later, Ricky Nelson died of a drug overdose. Nelson's mother remembers a loving side of her son, but despite his challenges with drugs and untreated mental illnesses, she said there was no excuse for his behavior. For Iris Rowley, watching and discussing the police body camera recordings was an important way of focusing on police actions.
Until we can have these conversations without, our pitchforks and digging in the sand and burying our heads, we're going to forever not be able to see what you just showed me.
Ricky Nelson's mother, Tina, told me that she wishes things would have gone differently that day in the house, but she said the police don't know what they're walking into, and I get it. They did what they were supposed to do. That was their job. Craig Cheatham, 9 on your side.